Lu Fan and Lu Jus. A commendable father and son who both righteously dedicated their lives to the state of Wu. Lu Fan joined Sun Ce at the start of his career, where he effectively managed the military, then went on to serve under Sun Quan. His second son, Lu Jus, assisted Ding Feng in the Battle of Dongxing, but met his tragic downfall when he got into a conflict with the Wu regent Sun Chen in the year 256. Lu Fan was friendly and possessed a majestic appearance. Even the highest-ranking officers of Yang province, such as Lu Xun or Chuan Kong, showed him the deepest of respect. His house and clothes were extravagant, and he would spare no expense in how he lived his life. Sun Quan was pleased with the great care he put into his duties, and so wasn't bothered by his excess. When Chuan was young, he would often ask officials for funds for his personal interests. Lu Fan would always refuse the little lord and then report it to Sun Ce. This made Chuan dislike him, but as he matured he started to see Lu Fan in a different light, and soon came to admire his honesty. Lu Fan hails from the same clan as Lu Meng, Lu Dai, and Lu Bu. He had two sons, but the eldest died early and didn't have his name recorded. The younger one inherited his marquis title and then rose through the ranks during the reign of the second Wu emperor Sun Liang. Lu Fan was born in Runan Commandery, where in his youth he was appointed as a county official. He married a woman from a certain Liu family. Lady Liu was described as wealthy and beautiful, but her mother disliked Lu Fan and so didn't approve of the marriage. Her father correctly foresaw that Lu Fan would eventually become successful and said, "Look at Lu Fan, do you really think he'll remain poor forever?" As the Central Plains were in chaos, Lu Fan fled south to Shou and went to serve under Yuan Shu. After tending to his father's funeral and raising a small militia, Sun Ce also arrived in the year 194, which is where the two first met. Lu Fan impressed Sun Ce supposedly in a game of Wei Shi, and they became quite close. Then Fan brought along 100 of his personnel to all pledge allegiance to the little conqueror. The famous but questionable game of Wei Shi, called the Sun Lu game, is claimed to be the first game recorded move for move, but many scholars doubt its authenticity. Sun Ce made a bad opening move, which Lu Fan capitalized on before pointing out the mistake. Rather than get offended, Sun Ce was impressed and so offered Lu Fan a high position under him, but the latter refused. He insisted upon remaining in a low position so that he could more effectively manage the troops. Sun Ce was further impressed and the two became inseparable. Lu Fan was appointed as the chief controller. At this time, Sun Ce's family were in Zhu province, but he wanted them relocated to Wu Jing, who was in Wu Commandery. Sun Ce, Lu Fan, and Sun He went into Zhu to get Lady Wu, but Lu Fan was arrested on grounds of being a spy by Tao Xian, who despised Sun Ce. After being examined and tortured on these claims, Lu Fan was rescued by his retainers, who were valiant fighters. They escaped to Guang Commandery with Sun Ce's family, who then trusted Lu Fan so highly he was treated as a family member, and even allowed to dine in the presence of Lady Guotai. Fan and He would follow Sun Ce around regardless of difficulty or danger. While in the south, they fought for Wu Jing against the mountain bandit leader Zhu Lang, who was driven back and fled. During Ce's conquests throughout Xiangdong, Fan was third only to Cheng Pu and Zhu Kun in terms of earned merit. He assisted in the attack against Lujiang Commandery, before travelling west to attack Liu Yao. Here he did battle against Zhang Yin and Yu Mi, before capturing lesser Danyang and Hushu cities. Meanwhile, Sun Ce had reclaimed Moling and Chua County, whilst also capturing some of Zirong's and Liu Yao's scattered soldiers. Lu Fan was appointed as Hushu's chancellor and had his command increased by 2,000 soldiers and 50 horses. Shortly after this, he was appointed as the magistrate of Wanling County and defeated bandits in Danyang Commandery. Things were going well for Sun Ce, but Lu Fan was concerned about the quality of the army. He feared that even though the forces had grown, they comprised mostly of untrained rabble, with just a few veterans supporting them. His belief was that such an army could achieve limited success at best, and so he went to visit Sun Ce. "At present, your undertaking grows larger by the day, and the abundance of soldiers grows daily. When I was far away, I heard that you still have not elected a person to install discipline. I request that I fill the position of chief controller so that I can assist you." A marshal was simply a minor staff officer responsible for training and drilling the troops, and so Ce saw this as a demotion for Lu Fan. "Fan, you are already a great scholar, have a great host of subordinates, and have established your merits afar. How could I possibly assign you to such a meagre post? If the army heard of this, they would fall to pieces." To which Lu Fan replied, "Not so. At present, I had abandoned my homeland to rely on you, General. I have not done these things for my wife and son, but because I desire to do my utmost to bring succour to the world. It's like men in the same boat. If one thing goes wrong, we shall all drown. So it's just as much interest to me as it is to you." Sun Ce laughed, but he didn't give permission for Lu Fan to undertake the role. Fan got up and left. He donned his uniform, grabbed his whip, and then went around announcing himself as the chief controller. In the end, Sun Ce yielded and sent Lu Fan to Wu Commandery to officially undertake the role. Lu Fan's authority extended to all the units under command of Sun Ce's subordinates, effectively giving him control over the entire military administration. Soon, the army was orderly, harmonious, and regulations were adhered to. In 197, Yuan Shu declared himself emperor. By this time, Chen Yu had been appointed as the Grand Administrator of Wu. Lu Fan's biography says he named himself that, but other sources claim Chen Yu had been earlier appointed by Yuan Shu in the year 192, even though he didn't have the authority to do so. Chen Yu remained in Guang Commandery, refusing to take the risk of entering the Tiger's Den at Wu. As part of the alliance against Yuan Shu, Cao Cao gave Chen Yu the job to assist Sun Ce in the campaign, but with a secret mission to attack Wu forces from within. He contacted the various mountain bandit leaders like White Tiger Yan Baihu and Zhu Lang, who secretly watched Sun Ce's movements, waiting to recapture the commandery when he marches away with his army. Sun Ce became aware of the threat and sent Lu Fan and Zhu Yi to deal with Chen Yu. He was badly defeated by Lu Fan, whose unit killed his best general Chen Mu. 4,000 officials and scholars were captured along with their wives and children. Chen Yu himself fled to his hometown of ZRP. Next, Lu Fan followed Sun Ce to attack and defeat Zhu Lang, then Taishi Si. In 199, when the 7 counties of Wu Commandery were pacified, Ce wrote to the Han central government to have Lu Fan promoted and appointed as the administrator of Guiyang. Ce died in the year 200, and so Lu Fan headed back to Wu Commandery to attend the funeral. Previously, in 196, when Sun Quan was the chief of Yangzian, he would privately take funds for himself. Sun Ce would sometimes inquire about the expenses, but Chuan's officer of merit would doctor the books so it went undiscovered. Chuan was delighted about this at the time, but when he took over from his brother, he employed Lu Fan to manage the finances, as he knew that he was not willing to alter the records in any way. When Chuan led his full attack against Huangzhou in 203, bandits rose up in Wu, which forced him to withdraw. The various generals were sent to separate locations to defeat the bandits, with Lu Fan heading to Poyang. The next time Chuan attacked Huangzhou in 208, he left Zhang Zhao behind to defend their homeland. For his involvement in the Battle of Red Cliffs, Lu Fan was soon promoted again. When Liu Bei came to visit Jianyi for the marriage of Sun Shangxiang and to discuss the division of Jing province, Lu Fan and Zhou Yu urged Sun Quan to detain Liu Bei in order to prevent any future trouble, but Lu Su dissuaded him from doing this. Later, in 219, Sun Quan said to Lu Fan, "Earlier, had I followed your words, we would not be in the trouble we are in now. Now while I go upstream to take Guan Yu, you shall remain to defend Jianyi." After Sun Quan found success, Lu Fan was further promoted. Then, in the 9th month of 223, Tao Pi launched his 3-pronged attack against Wu. Lu Fan was given command of 5 armies to hold the southern shore of Dong River against Tao Ziyu's 20 armies, who were helmed by the likes of Zhang Liao and Zhang Ba. In the 11th month, a terrible storm raged for a day and a night, which led to the Wu fleet being dragged against the northern shore, right into the arms of the Wei invaders. Wang Ling and other generals led their men to quickly strike the vulnerable Wu forces, where they seized many captives, beheaded others, as well as capturing some Wu boats. The remnant Wu soldiers made their way back across the river, but Zhang Ba followed up by leading 10,000 men in a counter-offensive. Luckily, Chuan Kong and Zhu Sheng were able to lead the Wu forces to victory, and the Wei forces were defeated. Lu Fan was appointed as the governor of Yang province, despite the massive loss of life during the defense. He was further promoted to the Grand Marshal in 228, but he was already critically ill at this point, and passed away before he could take on his new appointment. Upon hearing of his death, Sun Quan wore white clothes, wept bitterly at his tomb, and called his name repeatedly. Lu Zhu inherited his father's marquis title, and steadily rose through the ranks. Sun Quan passed away himself in the year 252, where Sun Liang inherited the throne. Around this time, Wei felt offended because Zhuge Ke had extended the fortifications at Dongxing Dam. As it now entrenched on Wei territory by reaching the hills at either end, Zhuge Dan proposed a plan to counter Wu, and Sima Shi accepted his idea. Wang Chang, Guan Jian, Zhuge Dan and Hu Zun attacked Wu from 3 directions, with the latter 2 leading 70,000 men to attack the 2 castles at Dongxing. Ding Feng was already stationed at its defence and had to hold out for reinforcements. When Zhuge Ke arrived with 40,000 men, he placed Ding Feng, Liu Zan, Lu Ju and Tongjian in command of the vanguard as they moved across the mountainous terrain. It's here that Ding Feng pulled away from the main army with his 3,000 men in order to reach the front line quicker, where within 2 days he had seized the Zhou embankment. This was a triumphant victory for Wu, whereafter they captured large quantities of equipment and livestock. Sun Chen and his predecessor, Sun Jun, were Wu regents. They were cousins, and both great-grandsons of Sun Quan's uncle, Sun Jing. Sun Jun was hated for his dictatorial style and his lack of accomplishments. When he died, he transferred his power over to Sun Chen, who would eventually go on to depose the Wu Emperor Sun Liang. Lu Ju and Tongjian were angry about the passing of regency between the cousins, and attempted to overthrow him militarily, but they were both defeated. Tongjian and his clan were all executed, whilst Lu Ju committed suicide. When Sun Chen was later captured by Ding Feng, he begged Songzhi to allow him to be relocated to Jiao province, but Zhu declined, stating that he did not give Tongjian or Lu Ju those choices. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.